Today we summarize the story of Shakti Goin book The Living in the Light from chapter 11 to 15. Chapter 11, Trusting Intuition. In Living in the Light, chapter 11 focuses on the importance of trusting one's intuition and inner guidance. Shakti Gawai emphasizes that intuition is a vital tool for personal growth and self-awareness, helping individuals connect with their higher selves. Unlike logical reasoning, intuition operates from a place of inner knowing, often providing answers and directions that may not seem logical but are deeply aligned with one's true path. The chapter explains that intuition often speaks in subtle, quiet ways, and one needs to cultivate a calm and open mind to listen to it. Gawai encourages readers to start paying attention to the feelings, impressions, and subtle urges that arise, which may seem spontaneous but carry valuable wisdom. The more someone trusts and follows their intuition, the more this inner voice becomes stronger and clearer. Gawai differentiates between fear-based impulses and true intuitive guidance, urging readers to recognize the distinction. Fear often leads to doubt and hesitation, while intuition encourages us to move forward confidently, even when the path seems uncertain. Trusting intuition requires letting go of control and having faith in the flow of life. The chapter also highlights that intuition is connected to universal intelligence and can guide individuals toward their life purpose. By learning to rely on this inner guidance, people can make decisions that are aligned with their true selves, leading to a life filled with ease, purpose, and joy. However, trusting intuition is a skill that develops over time with practice, patience, and self-awareness. Chapter 12, Feelings. In chapter 12 of Living in the Light, Shakti Gawai delves into the importance of understanding and embracing our emotions as a vital part of spiritual and personal growth. This chapter emphasizes that feelings are an essential aspect of the human experience, serving as indicators of our inner truth and helping guide us toward a more authentic life. Gawai explains that many people have been conditioned to suppress their emotions or view them as weaknesses. Society often teaches us to prioritize rational thinking and to control or dismiss feelings, especially uncomfortable ones like anger, fear, or sadness. However, she argues that denying emotions only leads to inner conflict and disconnection from our true selves. The chapter encourages readers to start acknowledging their emotions rather than suppressing them. Gawai describes emotions as a natural and necessary part of life's flow. They help us understand ourselves better and signal when something in our life is out of alignment. For instance, feelings of discomfort or unease often point to areas where we need to make changes. Conversely, feelings of joy and fulfillment show us when we are living in harmony with our inner truth. Gawai also discusses the concept of emotional healing. Repressed or unprocessed emotions can create emotional blockages, which may manifest as physical or psychological distress. She suggests that by fully feeling and expressing emotions, people can release these blockages and allow healing to take place. This doesn't mean indulging in negative emotions or becoming overwhelmed by them, but rather allowing them to surface and flow naturally. The chapter also emphasizes the role of emotions in intuitive decision-making. When we are in touch with our feelings, we become more connected to our inner guidance. Feelings can serve as intuitive signals, helping us to make choices that are aligned with our highest good. Gawai encourages readers to trust their feelings as valuable information, not as something to be ignored or overridden by logic. Furthermore, the chapter addresses the fear many people have of being overwhelmed by their emotions. Gawai reassures readers that emotions, once acknowledged, tend to pass naturally, and by embracing them, we gain clarity and insight into our lives. Suppressing emotions, on the other hand, causes them to build up, potentially leading to greater distress or outbursts later on. In conclusion, Chapter 12, Feelings is a reminder that emotions are a powerful and necessary part of our lives. By acknowledging and working with our feelings, rather than resisting them, we can experience deeper self-awareness, healing, and spiritual growth. Gavai encourages readers to see emotions as guides to inner truth, helping us navigate the complexities of life with authenticity and openness. Chapter 13, Balancing Being and Doing. In Living in the Light, Chapter 13, Shakti Gavai explores the delicate balance between being and doing in our lives. She explains that both aspects are essential, but achieving harmony between them is crucial for living a balanced, fulfilling life. The chapter emphasizes the importance of recognizing when we are out of balance, either leaning too much into action, doing, or passivity, being, and how this affects our overall well-being. Gavai begins by discussing the state of being. Being refers to our internal state, where we are present with ourselves, connected to our emotions, and open to intuition and inner guidance. It is the state of simply existing, without the need to achieve or produce. In the modern world, this state is often undervalued, as society places higher importance on external achievements and constant activity. However, being allows us to recharge, connect with our deeper selves, and access inner wisdom. It is through being that we become aware of our desires, needs, and true direction in life. On the other hand, Gavai explains that doing refers to the external actions we take in the world. It is through doing that we manifest our desires, achieve goals, and create tangible results in our lives. However, when we focus too much on doing without being, we can lose touch with our deeper purpose and become overworked, stressed, or disconnected from our inner selves. This can lead to burnout and a sense of meaninglessness, as we may be doing things that do not truly align with our authentic selves. The key message of the chapter is the need to balance these two aspects, being and doing. Gavai explains that an imbalance often occurs when people emphasize one over the other. For instance, some individuals may spend too much time in being, becoming passive and disconnected from taking action in the world. Others may focus excessively on doing, constantly striving and working without ever pausing to reflect or recharge. Both extremes can lead to dissatisfaction and a lack of fulfillment. Gavai suggests that the ideal approach is to move back and forth between being and doing in a harmonious flow. By first being, connecting with our inner self, emotions, and intuition, we can gain clarity about what actions to take. Then, we can move into doing, taking aligned actions that are based on our inner guidance, rather than simply reacting to external pressures or expectations. When we are in balance, our actions feel effortless and inspired, and we are able to accomplish more with less stress and struggle. The chapter also touches on the role of intuition in guiding the balance between being and doing. Gavai emphasizes that listening to our intuition allows us to know when to act and when to rest. She encourages readers to trust their feelings and inner signals, which often tell us when it's time to slow down and reconnect with ourselves, or when it's time to take decisive action. In practical terms, Gavai suggests incorporating more time for being into daily life, such as through meditation, relaxation, or simply pausing to reflect. This helps to recharge energy and allows for greater clarity when moving into action. Similarly, when it's time to take action, she encourages readers to focus on purposeful and aligned tasks, rather than getting caught up in busy work or activities that do not serve their higher purpose. In conclusion, Chapter 13, Balancing Being and Doing teaches the importance of integrating these two essential aspects of life. By cultivating a balance between inner reflection and external action, we can live more fulfilling and authentic lives. Gavai encourages readers to find harmony in this dynamic, understanding that both being and doing are necessary for personal growth, success, and happiness. Chapter 14, The Authoritarian and the Rebel. In Chapter 14 of Living in the Light, Shakti Gavai explores the internal dynamics of two archetypes that reside within us all, the authoritarian and the rebel. These roles are symbolic of how we respond to authority and freedom, both in our external world and within ourselves. Gavai explains that the tension between these two parts often creates inner conflict and affects our relationships with others. The authoritarian represents the part of us that craves control, order, and structure. This aspect often adheres to rules, social norms, and expectations. It can be seen as the internalized voice of authority figures such as parents, teachers, or society at large. The authoritarian is concerned with maintaining stability and avoiding chaos by enforcing discipline, responsibility, and conformity. While this part of us can provide necessary structure and guidance, it can also become overly rigid and suppress our creativity, individuality, and freedom. On the other hand, the rebel symbolizes the part of us that resists control and desires freedom and self-expression. The rebel often opposes rules, restrictions, and authority figures. This part of us seeks independence, spontaneity, and the freedom to live according to our own values and desires. However, when the rebel is too dominant, it can lead to reckless behavior, a disregard for consequences, and a refusal to accept responsibility. While the rebel encourages growth and exploration, it can also create chaos and instability if not balanced. Gavai emphasizes that both the authoritarian and the rebel are essential aspects of our personality, and neither is inherently bad. The challenge arises when we identify too strongly with one of these roles at the expense of the other. If we are too authoritarian, we may suppress our true desires and limit our potential for growth. If we are too rebellious, we may sabotage ourselves and fail to achieve meaningful goals. The key to resolving this internal conflict, according to Gavai, is to recognize and integrate both the authoritarian and the rebel. She suggests that we need to find a balance between the two. The authoritarian can provide the structure and discipline needed to follow through on our goals, while the rebel brings creativity, innovation, and the courage to challenge the status quo. By harmonizing these two parts, we can create a more balanced and fulfilling life. One way to integrate these two aspects is by developing self-awareness. Gavai encourages readers to observe their tendencies and notice when they are acting out of fear, control, or rebellion. By becoming aware of these patterns, we can begin to shift our behavior. For example, if we find ourselves being too controlling, we can consciously loosen up and allow more freedom and spontaneity into our lives. Conversely, if we are being too rebellious, we can introduce more discipline and responsibility. The chapter also touches on how the dynamic between the authoritarian and the rebel plays out in relationships. Often, people project these roles onto others. For instance, someone who strongly identifies with the rebel may attract partners who are authoritarian, leading to power struggles. Gavai suggests that resolving these conflicts internally can improve our external relationships, as we are no longer unconsciously acting out these roles with others. In conclusion, Chapter 14, The Authoritarian and the Rebel teaches us that both control and freedom are necessary for personal growth and fulfillment. The authoritarian provides the structure and discipline we need to navigate life, while the rebel offers creativity, spontaneity, and the courage to challenge limits. By integrating these two parts of ourselves, we can live more harmoniously, both internally and in our relationships with others. Gavai encourages readers to embrace both the authoritarian and the rebel, learning from each and allowing them to coexist in a balanced way. Chapter 15, Relationships. In Living in the Light, Chapter 15, Shakti Gawai discusses the significance of relationships in personal growth and spiritual development. She explains that our relationships serve as mirrors, reflecting back to us aspects of our own consciousness. Whether it's a relationship with a partner, friend, family member, or colleague, every interaction we have with others provides an opportunity for self-awareness and transformation. Gawai emphasizes that relationships are powerful tools for growth, but they also bring challenges that, if approached consciously, can lead to deeper understanding and personal evolution. One of the central ideas of this chapter is that relationships are a reflection of our inner world. Gawai asserts that we often attract people into our lives who reflect the qualities, both positive and negative, that we hold within ourselves. For instance, if we struggle with self-love, we may attract partners who do not treat us with love and respect, mirroring our own lack of self-worth. On the other hand, when we cultivate self-acceptance and inner peace, we attract relationships that reflect those qualities. Understanding this dynamic allows us to use relationships as a path to self-discovery. Gawai also addresses the concept of projection, explaining that we often project our unresolved emotions and issues onto others. When we experience conflict or tension in relationships, it is often because we are projecting our own fears, insecurities, or unmet needs onto the other person. Gawai encourages readers to use these moments of conflict as opportunities to look within and identify what unresolved feelings or beliefs might be at the root of the issue. By doing this inner work, we can transform our relationships and bring more harmony into them. Another important point Gawai makes is that relationships are meant to support our growth, not to fill a void or complete us. Many people enter relationships expecting the other person to fulfill their emotional needs or to make them happy. However, Gawai emphasizes that true fulfillment comes from within. When we rely on another person to give us a sense of worth, security, or happiness, we place unrealistic expectations on the relationship, which often leads to disappointment and frustration. Instead, Gawai advocates for approaching relationships from a place of wholeness, where each person takes responsibility for their own happiness and growth. This creates a healthy dynamic of mutual support rather than dependency. In this chapter, Gawai also discusses the importance of communication in relationships. She stresses the value of open, honest, and compassionate communication as a way to deepen connections and resolve conflicts. Often, misunderstandings arise because people are not expressing their true feelings or needs. Gawai encourages readers to practice speaking from the heart and listening with empathy, which fosters greater understanding and intimacy in relationships. Furthermore, Gawai explores the concept of boundaries in relationships. She explains that healthy boundaries are essential for maintaining a sense of self and ensuring that both partners have the space to grow and evolve individually. Without clear boundaries, relationships can become enmeshed, leading to feelings of resentment or a loss of identity. Gawai encourages readers to set boundaries that honor their own needs while respecting the needs of others, creating a balanced and supportive relationship dynamic. Another aspect of relationships that Gawai highlights is the importance of allowing change and evolution. She notes that as individuals grow and evolve, their relationships will naturally change as well. Some relationships may become stronger, while others may drift apart. Gawai suggests that it is important to honor the natural flow of relationships and to let go when necessary, trusting that each relationship serves its purpose in our personal journey. Holding on to relationships that no longer support our growth can hinder our evolution and create unnecessary suffering. In conclusion, Chapter 15, Relationships emphasizes that relationships are powerful tools for self-awareness, growth, and transformation. By recognizing that relationships reflect our inner world, taking responsibility for our own happiness, and practicing open communication and healthy boundaries, we can create more fulfilling and harmonious connections with others. Gavai encourages readers to approach relationships consciously, using them as opportunities for personal and spiritual development. Thank you for watching and visiting our channel. Please like and subscribe for more videos.